Hey, what's up? This is Jamal Abbott. Thanks for tuning in. I've got a special guest here on the show today, and we'll be talking to a business owner, an entrepreneur, and somebody that I look up to. So I'm hoping that we'll get some nuggets that he'll share here on the show. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Eric, who's going to introduce himself and tell us what he's all about.
Hey guys, my name is Eric Stevens, um, and I'm basically an entrepreneur. This is the reason that I'm on the show today, and, and hopefully I can give you guys some information about the pitfalls, the ups, the downs, the insides, the personal side of being an entrepreneur. I've been in business for myself since I was probably about 21 or 22, um, and I've had this particular business being a retail um, cell phone or wireless retail store owner since 2007, and I've grown from just one little store to now we have 15 in our group, 13 that I own and two that I don't.
Awesome. Yeah, that's amazing. So take us back here real quick. So you said 2007 is when you started your business, correct?
That's when I started this particular business. It was called Four Real Deals, um, and because I had a little clothing boutique that helped bring in extra income. Being diversified is real important. Another issue that we could talk about at one time or another. Being diversified when you first start out, it's a really good thing to be. But I sold clothing, and then I also did computer repair, cell phone repair, because I've been a bit of a techie, a bit of a geek my whole life, and geek pays. I tell you, it does pay. Uh, and in 2007 was the first time that I ventured into leasing a space from someone else and opening up a brick and mortar location to do just that and to have a business in.
Awesome. And so what prompted you to start your own business? You say you pretty much been doing this whole business entrepreneurship thing for over 20 years now. I'm curious, like a moment in time, like maybe a bad boss, or you're just like, you know what,
No,
I'm not gonna work for the man.
um, kind of wanted to be my own boss, and then I did have a lot of different bosses. But what I really go back to is one of the first driving motivators for me is that my entire life, um, many of my relatives, my mom, my aunts, and stuff, they thought that I was pretty smart, pretty intelligent. And I was good with my hands, good with technology, and a lot of my bosses would always tell me, "Hey, you could do this on your own. You should work for yourself." And sometimes that can be one way of boss telling you, "Hey, man, you need to go." And sometimes that's a way of boss is telling you that, "Hey, you're pretty sharp, and that maybe this is below you." And one of my most interesting bosses was a gentleman by the name of Lou Cole. I ran a pharmacy chain with him, and we ran a managed prescription program. And I learned a lot about the business there online, creating a website, creating an e-commerce website with them. I did that for quite a few years, and I loved it. He got sick. There were some problems with the dynamic of that particular position, and I left the company. Um, and immediately after that, during that time, I thought, I think it's about time for me to do my own thing. I started to work into getting my own business going after that, because my wife didn't want people coming to the house for me to do the computer repairs, and then she got tired of kind of going with me on out jobs, because she would go with me on out jobs just for protection. You go, what can your wife do to protect you? Well, sometimes you get yourself in sticky situations where you want to make sure that she's
Mm.
confident in what you're doing and that you're confident in what you're doing. So you take her along so she gets to know the clients too. And to that end, one of the reasons that I'm so successful is because my wife is just that sharp. She gets it. When I ask her to do some things and she asks things of me, we kind of roll with it. And that's another part of if you're in a relationship as an entrepreneur, having your close family members, your paramour, buy into that as much as possible is a huge thing. So yeah, um, that's what kind of pushed me first, is that other people continually telling me and feeding to me that, hey, you can do this on your own. You can have your own business. You're pretty sharp. Why aren't you doing this on your own? And I knew the potential of the kind of money I could make, because even without a degree in computer technology and such, I could pretty much read anything, see anything, tear it apart, and put it back together, just like I found it.
Mm.
And that's what led me into where I am today. She's not an integral part of the company per se, but anything that I need, any assistance that I need, um, certain jobs she could do, she does. She has her own. She works for another company on her own, which is fine, perfectly fine. But 99.9% of the business is on me. But she will help me with those little things that would take my time and attention away from things that should be that my me as the owner or the CEO or the president of the company should be doing, and she can take care of those other little tasks and help delegate some things too. And trust me, she could probably sit behind this desk and do everything I do. She can recite everything I say from top to bottom, day to day from clients, and then certain metrics of way we do things. She understands how to measure those and how that works out quite well. She's pretty sharp.
So you started off not doing the technology thing at first. You did the clothing and you worked with some other people. What point in your career did that happen for you?
Well, actually, the technology part of it, the clothing part, the clothing retail store was a good way to diversify what I was already doing. I actually was doing the technical stuff when I was in high school. I helped work. I loved working with computers. I understood that if there was something that was simple and that was a needed repair, maybe someone at school, a teacher, somebody had a problem with their phone or device, I could pretty much fix it and figure it out. The printers and stuff, I worked in the library a little bit. I was able to read the manuals and understand where the problems were and fix those issues and those problems. I worked on computers and laptops early on. I had a good friend named Mike who I had found an old Tandy. That's how old I am. Old Tandy computer. And I said, hey, I want to upgrade this. And I took it to his shop and he said, hey, let me show you how to fix this computer. And he picked it up and he slammed it on the ground. Now go over there and stand next to this other guy, another good friend of mine. His name is Marcus. He said, I want you to do what this kid's doing. And I learned that day how to build computers, how to build PCs. That's back when you used to have to put jumpers on separately, that you didn't, there were no automatic assignments of different IRQs. You had to do them manually on the board. And that was so interesting to me to know how you could control something and change the way something or manipulate the way something works based on some simple little plastic tabs with a metal insert in them. And that sparked it more in me. And then I started working that way. And then I would spend time online on the computer looking around at different products I thought could make money. And I realized that there are certain devices that people would pay a lot of money for. And then I would find that there were other locations in the world that had those items at such a low price. You go, well, how could they be so low over here and cost so much over there? And one of the things that really got me into it was I had by happenstance been looking for a part for a customer. And I found a company that worked with another company that handled a lot of the Verizon returns. And they received the devices in every type of condition, whether they be beyond economical repair, which is, they call it burr stock, or if they were in great condition A, or, where there was nothing wrong with them. Like the customer came to the counter, said they want it, got activated, and they said, I don't even want it, and gave it back to the vendor. Then those items would come out, and I could buy those from this company by the Gaylord, which is a 4 foot by 4 foot wide by 4 foot deep by 4 foot long box. And so I started buying them from this company in this way. First, just a few at a time, because I thought I didn't have enough money to buy thousands of these things. I started buying just a few. And then because I saw another place that people were paying for them more than I was buying them for. And then I could buy them in a free market that allowed me to say exactly what I was selling. And the people who were going to buy them were going to try to make them sellable. Like if they had a broken screen, or if they bought 10 of them from me, they knew they could make 5 good, and making those 5 good would make them a ton of profit. I said, sure, let's do this. So I did that for a while, and I made a ton of money doing that. That's what got me going. Like, and I'll tell you, there was the Palm Trail. The phone was called the Palm Trail, one of the first smartphones. I was able to buy those smartphones for about $25 a piece. I was selling them in a marketplace.
Holy cow!
Where I was reselling them for between $150 and $300 a piece. And I was selling them in lots, small lots of 3, 8, 10, 20. And as I got more popular, more people were asking for more and more of them. And then my supplier started to wonder what I was doing with the phones. And they didn't have any prohibitions of how I sold them. They told me as long as I did this, I could have them. And that eventually petered out. The products change, things change. But that was one of the things that really helped me get along, was learning about that particular product. I found a niche for that item. I found a place to get it less expensively, even with shipping and handling. And all of my advertising and the platform that I sold on was like a wholesaler's auction house to other people in the industry who would then repair them and then resell them to the end users. I didn't sell them on eBay or anything to the end user. That wasn't my marketplace. I wanted to sell them to people who were like me, who wanted to then make them presentable and then resell them to an end user. And I loved it. It was perfect for me. And that's what got me going. Along with that, that has to go along with one of my first business names. One of my first business names was AllSync. That's ALLSINC. SINC. That's Asset Locators and Liquidation Services Incorporated. Because I found myself, people would say, hey, you're so sharp, find me this, find me that. I became a gopher for all kinds of things. It didn't matter if it was hair extensions, if you wanted nails, if you wanted a particular hair care product, if you wanted a car part, if you just wanted a one-off license plate, if you had a vintage car and you wanted the original tissue holder for that car. If I could find a person who was selling it, and the person who wanted to buy it told me, hey, I want this and I'm not willing to pay more than $50 for it. Well, I'd find a seller and figure out what he wanted to sell it for. If there was a little market in the markup for me in the middle, that was perfect for me. It didn't matter that it wasn't millions of dollars, but those little bits of money and those little relationships grew into things that I was able to do. So that's what helped me capitalize on one of my first businesses, just being a gopher.
Wow, that's huge. You mentioned relationships. That's something I've been thinking a lot of here recently. And then as I go on that path of being a business owner and realizing that you can't do this all alone, just talk about how important it is relationships with not only with people, but with the other suppliers or other vendors in your world.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to cultivate stuff. You want to. Well, for me, I went into this market not knowing anything, not knowing the lingo, not knowing any of the acronyms that were used, and so it was difficult at first. So I would have to take good notes and listen to people and write down the names of people, because they're in relationships. There are good relationships, and those are the ones that are generally co-beneficial. Both parties are getting something out of the relationship. Then there are the relationships that are one-sided. Then there are some relationships that from the beginning, and not by any doing of your own, but because of the intentions of the other parties, where they're going to leech off of you, or they're here to just try to take from you. And trust me, I lost money by wiring money to people that I shouldn't have early on, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars at times. And you learned. And then you have people who are kind of in the gray area, and you may even lurk in the gray area a little bit as you get your business starting up. I'm not quite sure about this product. Is this product legitimate? Is it licensed? Is it all that? And you have to figure out that. You'll have to flow in that. And a phrase you may use in America, and I dealt with a lot of foreign manufacturers and suppliers too, is a word that you may think of meaning one thing, like the word OEM means from the original equipment manufacturer, meaning from the, and for Americans, we think that's from the major manufacturer. But OEM just means original. I can become an OEM manufacturer of any product. And in some of the Asian markets I worked in, I would tell them I want OEM product. I want original, authentic. They go, yeah, we've got that. We've got that. And I'd order iPhones or iPods or iPads and things like that and get something. I'm like, that's not real. But it's what you ordered. It's authentic. It's OEM. It's what I ordered. I said, no, I want that thing. I want that Apple product, because I didn't understand how you got out Apple products. Now I'm a licensed Apple vendor. I know how to get those products the right way. And then there, your family relationships, having your family members buy into your dream and even help you with your dream. Like when I opened my first store, I had went down to a small town way out in the bottom of Nebraska and bought a truckload of clothing that was from when there's closeouts and things like that from clothing stores. I bought a huge 40-foot truck full of clothing and brought it back to town. And I had everybody come in and help me hang up the clothes and price the clothes and put them in the new location. Went out on a dream, with $600 in my pocket, the cost of the truck, the cost of the fuel, and the cost of the product I wanted at an auction, and opened that store. In that initial investment's what turned into what this business is today.
Wow. That's awesome. So $600 of your own. So you didn't take in, and this is the one thing that you see on the news quite a bit is people raising funds, and then, venture capitalists coming in. And I know. Tell me about it. So you're basically telling me you can start a business without having outside funding coming in. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think if you use the things that you have, and one thing about being an entrepreneur, don't do what's popular. And when I say that, I don't mean don't do things that aren't going to be popular to make money, but don't do what's popular. Just like when you choose your educational path in life and you go to college, everybody's not going to be a doctor. Not everybody's going to be an attorney. Not everybody's going to be in whatever. Choose what works for you. Sit and take the moment, close your eyes and think about, what are you good at? What can I do? And what do I like to do? Because you're going to be doing this for your life, for a long period of your life. And you're not gaining more. So there's not a lot of on-ramps, off-ramps, on-ramps, off-ramps in life. You got to get on that highway and stay on that highway till the end, until you get to your final destination. So what you want to do is you want to find that thing that gives you pleasure. I genuinely enjoy working with people. and I genuinely enjoy fixing things for people, and I genuinely enjoy providing a good, solid product. Currently, I work with a major prepaid cell phone provider right now that's going through a transition. And everything that I say is my own opinion, and it isn't the opinion of, and nor has it been expressed to me by that major vendor that I have an agreement with. But I preferred them at the time when I came in over other providers that I've been. I had worked with a company that's a subsidiary of now a subsidiary of AT&T. They weren't at that time, and I felt like I truly got shafted. And now I'm working with another company, and for the most part, this relationship with them and my distribution partners has been very, very, very advantageous. There are some sticky points, and there are some things that we're still working out. And that's because our industry is changing so fast and so rapidly, faster than legislators can do their job, and faster than consumers can keep up with. So we're blazing new paths every day. And you think, well, phones have been around forever. There can't be any new things about it, but there are new ways of thinking about it, and everybody's trying to monetize everything. So this is something that, like I said, I thought about what I like to do. I work well with my hands. I work on computers. That's what all that junk is behind me, computers and stuff that I repair on for people, jobs that I have yet to do, unresolved jobs where customers don't come back and pay for their goods. They won't pay for their parts, things like that. You have to think about what you like to do and how you can balance that. And this works for me.
So let's just say that I come to you and say, hey, Eric, I want to start my own store, and I want to sell prepaid cell phones. So how would I go about doing that? I looked up on Google, and there's some stuff out there, but it seems a little confusing. I'm not even sure if I'm on the right path, but I understand there's a way to, there's like a branded store, there's an independent store, and I think there was something else that they have popped up online. But if you can just talk about that, then I think that'd be good to hear.
Sure. Okay. Well, a branded store means that generally that you provide, like I'll say who I'm with. I'm with Boost Mobile right now, and they're a subsidiary. They are kind of in a flux between being a subsidiary of Sprint and being separated and being owned right now by Dish. So that kind of puts the time frame of when this video is this podcast is being made and recorded. As a branded retailer, the company that I work with and that I have an agreement with, they'll put their fixtures, or I'll be required to buy their fixtures and sell their goods and their goods only in my store. And they may have certain restrictions on what I can do. And because of those restrictions, then I receive a larger reward or larger piece of the pie when it comes to my residual income, meaning when I sell a phone, I will get X number of dollars as a commission. And I also have the ability to return those goods back to a distribution partner. Everything is sold through a third party. I don't buy my phones from Sprint directly. I buy them from a distribution partner, which is called a master agent. They, in turn, are buying those things from Sprint. And Sprint's giving them money, and they're also allocating dollars that they're earning to help support my business, because I'm the end guy to their consumer. They provide training to me. They also help with some real estate researching. If we're looking for new real estate, we want to grow our business, they might help us with that. They also make sure that we receive a dependable, consistent product. And then they take care of all the POP, the presentation equipment, the posters, all the things that tell you about what our stores are, where we are, and they pay almost all the advertising for what we do, except for our individual events that we do that are called local marketing of our own. So there's an advantage to doing that. Then there are people who are AR. In our particular thing, it's called an AR, and that's an agent that's just an authorized retailer. They're okay to sell the goods, but they don't make as much as I do. They may not get the new phones when I do as early as I do. They may not be able to give the customer the discounts that I'm able to give them promotion wise, where Boost may offer an iPhone to a customer that's normally $500, they can get it for $100. That vendor may not be able to do that. And then they sell other items. They may sell for other companies, where I am only doing one company. And there are other vendors who actually work under agreement where they can do both. They have one location that's particularly only a BR, meaning they only do exclusively one brand, but they may have another location in another part of town where they do multiple companies, multiple lines of service. They may work with multiple vendors and things like that, and sell other goods too. in this location, I can sell only cellular related items. I may be required even to buy my accessories from that particular distribution party, whose goods are then required by Sprint for me to have. And I may even have goals and how much I have to buy and how much I have to spend and how much I have to sell also. Whereas an AR dealer may not have any requirements of that at all. He's just casually a vendor. If he sells one phone, no big deal. If he sells 50, great. And those are the differences in that way.
So what's been scary and exciting about being an entrepreneur? So you've been doing this for a while, and I'm just curious about some of the roller coaster rides that you've been a part of on this journey.
Oh, I mean, of late, lately it's just been the advent of the products. The thing that's scary most is not knowing when a new product's going to come out, how long it's going to take to come to market when you got customers asking for it and asking for it. You don't want to lose that early edge on the product. You want to have it when it's available to sell it when it's hot. Then with like where you are now, what I talked about before, is this change in who the owners are of the company that I'm working with directly. Am I with Sprint? Am I with Dish? Are we going to become our own company? That's been the scary thing. And also, when you're the company that you're selling their goods for, when they change their strategies for selling, there's always that paradigm time. There's a paradigm shift time where you go, okay, I used to make my dollars this way. Back in the old days, we used to buy a phone for X number of dollars, and there was a little bit of a discount. We had a wholesale price. A lot of the consumers always believe that, oh, we're buying iPhones for $50 and we're selling them for 500, and that's not true. We buy them really at MSRP or very close most times. We get our money in the back end. In the old days, we would get it for about the same price or a little bit less, 20, 30, maybe 50, maybe even $100 less than its selling price on the street. Then we had to sell it to a customer in a certain specific way in order to get back any profitability for Sprint or whoever, or Cricket or whoever, to give us the commission on that sale. We're also now, required to keep our customers. We're required to groom our customers, educate our customers, and provide our customers with service. We're now really more service oriented for our dollar. I'm a tech. As a tech, I know that generally my fee for doing a computer repair is anywhere between $75 and up per hour. When we're dealing with cell phones, they're no less technologically advanced or complicated than the PCs are. But all the things that are in them are more micro-sized. I may spend as much, if not more, time working with a particular client to fix a virus, educate them about how to use a software or platform or an app on their phone than I would do with teaching someone how to use Windows or Microsoft Office. But in the cell phone market, I'm not able to charge you $75 for my time. I have to eat that and absorb that. So I have to figure out how best to balance the customer's need with our outlay or our costs. And I have multiple stores, and I'm not in every store. So I have employees working for me. And if they're making X number of dollars, 10, 11, 12, $13 an hour, and they're commissioned or they're getting bonuses for their performance, I need them to be doing those. Those are things that are scary now. Is one of the scarier things was for me going from being a one single operator with one store to now being a guy who has 13 stores with 30 some odd employees, and how we've grown from that, and to go from having family members help you to inviting complete strangers and putting them in charge of hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory that you have, and being able to sleep at night. That's another scary thing. Yeah.
So for my next question, we're talking about just the life of a business owner. What would you tell somebody who's like on the fence about starting their own business? Let's just say that, college isn't for them. They, don't want to do college. They're tired of school. They barely just kind of got by. What can you tell that person about starting a business? Is it really as scary as it seems?
It is, and it isn't. I mean, if it's not scary, then you're probably not doing what you need to do. It's probably not affecting you enough for you to really be fully invested in it. You're probably not going to do the best job that you need to be. I say that because I've done other things and my heart hasn't been in them, so I'm not that invested in them. So you want to be invested in this. You want to have that moment. You want to have those where you got to catch your breath. You want to have those. That way you have those great highs, you have those great lows, so that you understand that you're still alive in this business. Now, you don't want it to be super easy, because then if it's too easy, it can get away from you. Um,
Mm.
um, and make sure you have some firmament. You want to have some place where one of your feet is firmly planted. Even if you have something that's a little wiggly over here, you want to find something to base your business in that's quite firm. Is it based on reality? I mean, and I don't want to call out any businesses that aren't, but there are things that people do that just aren't lasting. Not everybody can become a monetized provider of web content. Everybody thinks that all I have to do is act like a jackalope, and then people are going to love it, and then I can make $1 million. Not everybody can do that, and a lot of our kids today are they everybody thinks now they have to monetize themselves to be somebody. Find something that's real. Find something that's physical. I know a lot of talented young ladies who are great with art. They're good with math. They're good with science. They're good with the things that we would gender-based basis say they're good with. I know girls who are not just great hair braiders, they are artists at that trade, and they can elevate that thing to a form, an art form, and a way of doing things that they can charge a ton of money for this. I had no idea. My wife was telling me about this hairstyle called sister locks, and I was like, what? You could pay thousands of dollars to have your hair braided. Thousands. And these girls know how to do it in a particular way to make it look a certain way so it achieves a certain look. And then there are all these fashion things, and these young ladies are getting into making weave and things like that. And then there are guys who are into agronomy now, and I'm not into any of the CBD stuff. Nothing against those people that are interested in doing it,
Mm-hmm.
but find something that is doing something in a way that doesn't that fits and folds firmly into your ethical beliefs, your personal beliefs, your faith. Something that doesn't step or tread on those, and go for it. Go for it. If you're an athlete, if you're a basketball player, basketball doesn't have one component. It's not just the ball. It's not just the one player. It's not just LeBron. There are coaches. There are athletic directors. There are all these different jobs that make a football team, a basketball team, a sport team. Find your place in that organization and build your business behind that. Find your place in auto repair and build your business behind that if you want to be an entrepreneur. You've got to carve it out, twist it around, see what you're good at, see if you're multidisciplinary or if you're just a single-minded type of person. But do that. Do some soul searching. Ask people, hey, Jamal, what do you think, man? You think I can do this? I look like the guy who can do this. I want to be an Olympic swimmer. Look at me. Do I look like an Olympic swimmer to you? Well, Uncle Eric, no, you're not an Olympic swimmer. But I might be good at something else. Okay. That's the advice I would give any person thinking about becoming an entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with stepping out and taking risks, even if it's not at home. Sometimes the most rewarding things we do is when we take those biggest leaps and then we land safely. We're amazed at how well we did. And you have to stretch yourself too. You've got to work that muscle to keep it strong. It shouldn't be something that's so easy that you're not working it, that there's no weight behind it.
If we're thinking about what's coming with 2020 and beyond, what's coming for Eric Stevens? So are we talking about more businesses? Are we talking about maybe raising up the next round of entrepreneurs? Are we talking about maybe giving back to the community? What's on your mind as far as 2020 goes and what you're thinking
Sure.
about?
I mean, all those things are there. I mean, when we started part of our business model early on was, I was a member of the Boys Club when I was a kid. And so a lot of the community centers I've been approached by over the years. And one of them that I really have taken a liking to, and they've been a part of my business, is the Hope Center here in Omaha, Nebraska. And at the Hope Center, they teach and train. They have job training classes. They have independent living classes for the kids. And I have employed probably 4 or 5 of their youth, and two of them still work for me now, and one's been with me for quite a while. And that's a great thing. I went in to do a class one time that I was invited to just do mock interviews, and I was so taken by her that I said, hey, you've got to come work for me. And so it was a little bit later, they had a summer job program, and she was in the city of Omaha, paid for her to come work for me, and I brought her in. Boom. And she's been with me ever since then. I like doing that. We do as much as we can in the community as we can. We try to sponsor little events. We try to help where we can. We can't do everything, but we do a few things. 2020 looks like this for me. 2019 was a very fast growing year for us. We grew by 400%, over 400% in 1 year. And so
Wow.
we want to take this now and balance it. We want to get our things together, look at how our income and debts are, and get some of our debt squeezed in now, get that taken care of. Every business is going to have those type of ebbs and flows. We want to get it together because we have a lot of people that we're responsible for and responsible to. And so I want to make sure that all of those things are taken care of as we measure the possibility of additional growth going forward. I am excitedly waiting for the possibility of the full takeover of Dish Network, of the current network I'm working with, because that would bring in the advent of other technologies that I haven't worked with in quite a while or at all. And that's, obviously the Dish Network and those customers and that customer base, and maybe doing those sales and employing an outside sales force and maybe some outside installers and things like that, something that'll grow my business in another way. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for those things. And for me personally, in growth, man, like I said, I'm healthy. I have a beautiful wife, and she's healthy, and we have a great family. And I hope that the things that this does grows with us. The people who work for me, some of the family members who still work with me, one of the things I've told them, I said, hey, when one of us is doing well, we're all doing well. So everything that we do as a family affects the other person. And well, it doesn't. People, no, it's just me. I'm on an island by myself, and that's not true. Because when I'm able to do more, then I'm able to give more to my family members, and I can help my family members, and we can go and do things that we enjoy life itself, and we're more free in that way. And when things are tighter, then we're not able to do as much, and we don't do as much, and we have to find other things that don't cost as much to enjoy ourselves as a family. And I really appreciate the fact that my family, my extended family, both my family and my in-laws, because I treat my in-laws as if they're blood to me, because we've been around so long with each other. The in-law word's kind of funny to me. It doesn't exist. We've been around each other so much that it's been a great joy to be able to do what I do, and not just talk the talk, but walk the walk in many ways. And I appreciate the grace and the forgiveness that my family's had me in the times that we failed. And 2020 is going to be a time of great growth, I believe, for not just for me and my family, but for everybody in America.
Appreciate you being on the show. And if you can just share how people can connect with you and then where they're finding you at in Omaha, Nebraska. So go ahead, take it away.
Sure. The name of my company is the number 4. That's 4 Real Wireless. And you can find us at 4realwireless.com. Our website gives you a general outlay of what our company is about and what we can and can't do. We have stores located in north central Omaha. We have stores located in Lincoln, and we have 7 stores located in Des Moines, Iowa. I actually operate my business in 2 different states and 4 different cities. And if you're a Boost Mobile customer, if you want to become a Boost Mobile customer, just look for 4 Real Wireless. You can find us on Facebook under the same thing, and we're also at 4 Real Wireless on Twitter.
Awesome. Thanks again, Eric, for your time, and good luck to you in 2020.
Thank you. Take care.